In the December 2017 Council meeting, a motion was passed which we believe to be ultra-virus concerning Councillor Marshall. In the January 2018 Council meeting, Councillor Marshall made a statement claiming he has not received a code of conduct, he has not been investigated, and he has had no mediation on an email he has sent. The first he knew of any action taken against him was in a letter from the Ombudsman on this matter. We strongly suggest to Council that this motion be investigated by Ms McCurdy to see if it is ultra-virus. And if it is found to be ultra-virus, that statement or that recommendation be removed from the Council records, and also we suggest strongly that the Council make a public apology to Councillor Marshall. We'll go to the segment where Councillor Marshall states his case.
The next item on the agenda is item 4.16, which deals with a question on notice. Ordinary Council, December 2017, from Councillor Marshall. Recommendation that the questions on notice relating to the minutes, agenda item 16.12, dealing with the code of conduct, the Ombudsman assessment of complaint of inappropriate conduct from Councillor Marshall and Councillor Charles, of Council meeting held on the 18th of December 2017, and the answers there to be received. Someone like to move that way? Thank you. Councillor Charles, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Hayles. Open to discussion. Yes, Councillor Marshall.
Well, I must say once again I'm very surprised. I'm amazed that elected members in this council actually move and second things when they don't understand or read the report and don't think it through. With all due respect to my fellow elected members, that's what's happened here. I will obviously be voting against this, and I'm voting against it for a reason. And if you don't mind, I'll read a statement, and I'd appreciate being able to read this without being interrupted. The questions and answers to my questions at the last meeting were: question 1, what section of the Local Government Act of 1999, and I emphasise apart from the Code of Conduct procedure after due process, allows elected members to impose any type of punishment upon their peers? The answer from our acting CEO, Mr Jeff Sheridan, said the Local Government Act 1999, section 263B, to outcome of Ombudsman investigation, section 263B2, provides as following: if a member of council fails to comply with a requirement of the council of a kind referred to in subsection 1, made in accordance with the recommendation of the Ombudsman, the member will be taken to have failed to comply with Chapter 5, Part 4, and the council is to ensure the complaint lodged is lodged against the member in the district court. My response: the acting CEO clearly misunderstood or perhaps deliberately avoided the question. The correct answer to the question should be, of course, no. None. There is no section of the Act that allows this, because the council hasn't followed due process, and the acting CEO should have been aware of that. Question 2, why was an attempt made to deny Councillors Marshall and Charles of our democratic right to participate in discussions of recommendation 7 when we clearly had no conflict of interest in the matter? Answer from our acting CEO: at the time it was considered that recommendation 7 formed part of the agenda item 16.1.2. However, in hindsight, it may have been better to consider recommendation 7 as a separate agenda item, as it unfortunately provided us distraction and took the focus off the real issue of the breaches outlined in the Ombudsman's letter and how this complaint should have been dealt with by the council, with council's complaints handling procedure under the council members' code of conduct. You have to excuse me, I'm a bit dyslexic. My response: once again, the acting CEO admits he got it totally wrong. The distraction was of the CEO's doing. The real issue was nothing to do with Councillor Marshall, as he had been denied due process and respectful treatment. Why is there no apology for this blunder? Question 3. Who instigated item 16.1.2 with its mismatch of recommendations? There are clearly more people involved than the acting CEO and the Ombudsman. Answer. The acting CEO, Jeff Sheridan, prepared the report following this receipt of the Ombudsman's letter. My response. Once again, the acting CEO voiced the question. The question was not who wrote the report, it was who put him up to it, put him up to it to just casually involve Councillor Marshall in the first place. Moving to the Ombudsman's report. The relevant part of the Ombudsman report in December Council meeting regarding Councillor Marshall's email comments reads, the Ombudsman considers that this email may constitute conduct that does not reflect reasonable community expectations of how council members should conduct themselves, and as such could be in breach of Part 2 of the Code of Conduct. He goes on to say the legislative scheme envisages that complaints in relation to Part 2 of the Code of Conduct, general behaviour, responsibilities, relationships and other matters be made to the Council for investigation in accordance with its adopted process. This has not been done. This means adopted process is lodging a Code of Conduct complaint that is initially confidential, not dragging the elected member's name and reputation through a public agenda and attempting to impose some sort of penalty on that elected member without any proof of wrongdoing. I also note in tonight's agenda item 16.3.1, outstanding council resolutions, and I've got that number wrong because we already dealt with these, January 2018, that there are 6 items on the second to last page that include Councillor Marshall's names, and were authorised by Acting CEO Jeff Sheridan. The heading reads, Code of Conduct, Ombudsman's Assessment of Complaint, Inappropriate Conduct, Councillor Marshall and Councillor Charles and Councillor Marshall. It is worth noting that Councillor Marshall has not ever been charged with a Code of Conduct breach in this matter. There has been an obvious attempt to damage my credibility and cause me grief based upon a lie, stating that the Ombudsman had found me guilty of something. The words may and could be are not any proof that Councillor Marshall is guilty of anything. In short, there has never been an official complaint for the Ombudsman to assess. I therefore contend that the Ombudsman too has erred in his judgment by commenting on my words without having an official complaint about me before him and then allowing his comments to be made public by releasing his report. By doing this, he has failed to protect my right to confidentiality and presumption of innocence before being judged following due process. I cannot see what I have ever done to upset Mr Sheridan during his brief tenure as acting CEO of this council, so why would he feel the need for such an unwarranted attack on me? It seems obvious to me that others are behind this. Perhaps that person or persons may have the courage to now admit his/her role in encouraging Mr Sheridan, and that person or persons may make an unreserved apology, as I'm sure Mr Sheridan will do. In conclusion, Resolution OC7992-017 carried by Council on December 18 is clearly ultra vires, as it is beyond the power of this Council to impose any sort of penalty on elected members without going through due process. The resolution that Council asked Councillor Bob Marshall to apologise to the Chamber, I believe, is therefore null and void. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Just wondering if it's appropriate for you to hand up your notes so that can be clear. Thank you. Any other discussion on this matter? If not, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour of receiving the report? And those against? That's carried. Thank you.
The division on that, please.
Yeah, thank you. All those in favour of receiving the report, please stand. Councillor Schofield. Councillor Dutton. and Councillor Hayles. And those against? Councillor Charles. Councillor Glazbrook. Councillor Marshall. Councillor Jenkins. And Councillor Andrews. That motion's lost. Thank you.
Just after watching that segment, do you agree that Councillor Marshall has been denied natural justice? An ultra vires motion is a motion which is beyond the authority of this council or any council. Thank you for watching. I'm David Kemp.
This has been a South Coast Television production.